This is the description of learning activities with integrated media by Michelle Cordero. As part of the media selection process for the Swim Trojan Lifeguard program, we have examined many media options for the objectives, reasons, and overview section of the program. We have looked into having a PowerPoint presentation with the use of a live instructor, a Moodle course, and a YouTube video created using iMovie. Based on the above sections, including sensory information, cost, technical, accessibility configurations, and learning and motivation considerations, a PowerPoint presentation with a live instructor has been chosen as the most optimal instructional media option. With our final chosen medium, it will go as follows. For the objectives, reasons, and overview section of our lesson, a guest lecturer, a veteran lifeguard, begins the session by sharing her personal story of a particularly difficult rescue, in which her knowledge and skill with CPR was essential to a successful outcome. The guest stresses the importance of learning the materials in this segment of the course. Using the chosen medium of a PowerPoint presentation with the use of a live instructor, the guest lecturer will appear on the first informational slide of the PowerPoint and tell their story through an embedded video. They will be filmed standing by an empty pool. The camera will first pan around the empty pool, then the guest lecturer will come into view. The camera will zoom in on them as they recount their story, so that learners can clearly see facial expressions and gestures. The instructor will then brief the learners on specific objectives for this lesson, including, but not limited to, recalling the steps in conducting a primary assessment, evaluating how to open an airway in the primary assessment, and demonstrating the head tilt/chin lift or jaw thrust in order to open the airway. At the conclusion of the segment with the guest lecturer, the next slide will display the learning objectives for this lesson one at a time. The instructor will read them aloud, giving a bit more insight into each one, besides what is just stated on the screen. Words and images on the screen will highlight certain aspects. The instructor will then describe the outline for the day's lesson. The PowerPoint presentation will show the outline of the day's lesson. The instructor will ask her volunteers or randomly call on different learners to read the text aloud. As they read, the step will be highlighted. We will now move on to the evaluation of the specific media choice. As part of the media selection process, a full media usability evaluation was conducted with PowerPoint presentations. PowerPoint presentations are used mostly in educational and workplace environments, thus making PowerPoint a media which feels safe and familiar to the users and to those who are viewing the presentations. It also makes the interface easy to manage and understand for most. Some elements which make the interface intuitive are the buttons along the top, which are incredibly similar to those used in Microsoft Word, a program which most have had to use at one point or another, and other Microsoft Office programs. This allows the ease of recalling prior knowledge even if the user has never used this particular program before. This, though, is not always the case. It was found that if the person creating the presentation does not have knowledge of cognitive load theory, they can easily overload a single slide, thus causing stress and confusion to the learner. This may also contribute to redundancy effect if the instructor is reading everything directly from the slide without elaboration in their own words. On the opposite side of the spectrum, designers should take care to put in enough information so that learners may follow along with what the instructor is saying. This gives the presentation a visual factor, which will help learners rather than just listening to the instructor speaking. PowerPoint presentations should not be a standalone item where the learner is expected to read and learn on their own. It should be an assistive program which enables learning and transfer of knowledge that the instructor is trying to present. Besides the redundancy principle of multimedia learning stated above, designers creating the PowerPoint presentation for this course must take care to follow all 12 of the multimedia design principles. One that should be given specific attention when creating a PowerPoint presentation is the spatial contiguity principle, which focuses on the fact that most people learn and understand better when corresponding words and pictures are presented on the same screen rather than on different slides. The medium of PowerPoint presentations is well suited to a range of audiences as it is being presented by the instructor and the learners simply have to follow along. This makes it well suited for the Swim Children course, as 60 to 70% of the learners are of the ages 16 to 19 and have likely worked with and watched PowerPoint presentations in the past. As you can see from this overview, we believe a PowerPoint presentation with a live instructor is the best option for the objectives, reasons, and overview section of the Swim Children program.